Okay, on to a new week, just like it is always on Mondays, which our guys are excited about. A couple big things, one being senior day. Last home game for, I think we're going to have 16 seniors run out last and get announced. And these guys have given a ton of this program. I think the program's headed in the right direction and a upward trend, and they've contributed huge to that, going through multiple coaches and continuing to battle and overcoming a lot of adversity. And so I got a ton of respect for these guys. I think all but two have graduated, and those two remaining are going to knock it out next term. So going 16 for 16 academically for those guys is awesome. And there's some big-time contributors. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but you think about how much Blake Brendel has played, and Gus Lavaca, and AP, and Shamar, and Sean Wilson, and Jalen Moore, and yeah. So anyhow, they played a lot of football. After being able to watch this tape, obviously there's a ton to learn from last week's game. Defensively, I will say I was proud of the effort. I thought did a lot of good things in the run game, contested some passes, got the turnovers. I think there's some confidence to build from that side of the ball and that performance. I mean, UW has been scoring a bunch of points. I think they were third in the league, and they kept us in that game. Our defense kept us in that game till the fourth quarter. Obviously, on the other side, it was not very good at all. And it's really not just one thing, not just an O-line play, not just quarterback play. I think not just play calling, not just one thing. I think you got to give some credit to the other side. UW's good on defense, been good on defense for a long time, made it physical, and we just could not respond and come up with anything. And so we took a deep look at it, and we're excited about an opportunity again this Saturday to kind of come back from that performance. I do think on teams there was some things that were solid. I mean, having to punt 10 times is scary because Aaron Fuller, their returner, they've done some really good things on punt return, and really only gave up one return that kind of hurt us. I thought that was solid. Obviously, the kickoff situation, we only kicked off twice. One of them was not executed very well, and so we continue to move on, though, against a good opponent. I think Arizona State, I think it's just like this league. Anybody can beat anybody. I do think these guys play a high-quality brand of football, running the ball, but it's tough on defense against the run. They got some good players, and I know we're going to get their best effort coming up here on Saturday.
Coach, back to the seniors real quick. How much do you appreciate this group, considering what they went through? And then, coming in as a new leader, don't you have to kind of re-recruit and then having them stay and improve as time has gone on?
Yeah, I appreciate him a ton because like you're mentioning, going through multiple coaches is not easy. It's unsettling. And they've bought in and worked really hard. I think they have improved, and they've improved this program over the year and a half we've been here. And so I got a ton of respect for them, the way they've carried themselves academically, on the field, continue to battle. And we've got a few of them that are going to get a good chance to play in the NFL.
In regards to the seniors, you said 16 are walking. Are there any that are walking that could possibly be back next year?
No, I don't believe so, out of those 16s.
So all of them will be like Jeremy Reichner, is he?
Not planning on walking.
He's not walking, okay. Yeah. And then in regards to the offense, Washington obviously has got a good defense, but they hadn't shown that all year long. That level was, how much of that was did they do something?
Not a ton. Well, yes, they did something.
Well, right, but did they do anything that just you didn't foresee that they were getting into that was just causing?
Well, I didn't foresee us the physicality level being so one-sided. I didn't see that. I don't think they ran a bunch of new coverages or defensive fronts. They didn't do that. There were some times that we actually blocked it decent, and now in the backfield, our ball carriers weren't hitting the proper gap for whatever reason. We had a couple of opportunities, guys open. We missed them. Big third down miss, and again, there's not a lot of room for error against a good defense, and you throw in our errors, created a problem.
In the second, you mentioned Friday at halftime, you want to run the ball. What happened? I mean,
yeah, we missed a couple of assignments.
Have you ever gone through a half like that where just absolutely nothing works?
I can't remember one, and I probably wouldn't try to remember one if I had. Again, it's not just one thing. We missed a couple of assignments in our scheme, the physicality. We missed a couple of holes in the run game, and you got to give some credit to UW for causing some of that.
Have they shown that unorthodox two guys on the outside on the defensive front and the middle wide open before?
You talking about like some of the third down pass rush?
Yeah.
They had widened them out a couple of times. That wasn't a huge factor, and like we didn't know what to do on that alignment.
Is there, again, I'm just curious. Is there any call for audible or anything where you could run for 7 yards before a linebacker recovers?
Sure. I mean, yeah, you can always audible at the line of scrimmage if you see some stuff that you think would be better.
You've had a couple of games where the offense plays really well this year and the defense not so much, and the defense does and the offense. Just how frustrating is that as a coach to go like, man, if we could get both of these together,
Yeah.
then we could have so much success.
Yeah, it's part of it because I'm with you. I do think on both sides we've played at a high level for certain games or certain times, and that's why this is the ultimate team game. It's awesome that way, is that you need both sides, all three phases really, and special teams, and it's hard to win. It just really is, and you got to keep on plugging away. And I go back to this thing. It's just each week is new opponent, new scheme, how your guys are going, and we got a great opportunity again this week.
You didn't have Tyjon last week. Is he going to be back next week or for Arizona?
We were very hopeful he will be back. He kind of dinged his ribs, and you know how ribs can be. That just got to the end of the week and he couldn't overcome it.
Was going to lead into, though, had he been available, that seemed like an element you were missing, that being able to fly sweep, do the
Yeah.
run game. That you've thrown that in a few times each game. It seemed like maybe that was.
Yeah, we try to make him a factor. Everyone's dealing with injuries, but having him and / Colby. Colby's done some good things. Both those guys don't play. But again, every school is dealing with that right now.
Right. It was just that element I was thinking of. Jefferson left for a little bit in the second quarter. He played. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's a typical running back, getting tackled and banged up a little, but no, he's fine.
But he's fine. Okay. And you Taylor and Lindsay, same. Just you don't know until Saturday.
Yeah, toward the end of the week. Optimistic, both of them, though.
Shamar, is he?
Same thing. He just can't change direction well enough to be, tackle some guys in space.
What do you expect to see from Arizona State?
Yeah, physical, unique scheme defensively. You don't see this week in and week out. It's a little bit different that way. The way, rotation of safeties, the front, and pressure packages they do. They do a great job against the run. So you see that. Offensively, I think this back is about as good as there is in the league. He's physical, can run, done some really good things. Quarterback's playing at a high level. I know they played a new one last week, and he played really well. Not certain on where they're going that direction. We've got to be ready to play against either one because both of them are pretty good.
You mentioned that this conference has had so many quarterbacks injured. You guys have gone up against a bunch of different backups and different things. Just, have you ever seen a season where so many teams that you've had to go up against have been, playing a backup in that position
Right.
and not having much film? I know you go look at schemes and stuff, but does that play any kind of a thing where you're just not quite sure 100% going in what you might see?
Right. I can't. It's not like I was tracking it through my career, but it does seem like the conference itself has played a lot of quarterbacks. It's a little different, preparing maybe for one guy versus the other. Oftentimes, especially getting in the middle, late of the season, people's got their schemes established. They're not going to all of a sudden reinvent the wheel with someone week 10, 11. So you prepare for the scheme and be ready to adjust on the quarterback thing.
In regards to the defense, did you feel like you guys matched up pretty well physically? It seemed like there was only 2 explosion plays.
Yeah.
That's might even be a season low, I think.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm telling you, I think we should build some confidence from that. I thought, they had the one long run that we actually got misaligned on and missed a tackle, and that kid is fast. Savon can go. He runs for whatever it was, 50-yard touchdown. But you look at a lot of the other stuff, we're around it and making tackles. And again, to hold them to 19 points, we played some good situational defense, again, holding them to field goal attempts. The guy hadn't missed. So we did enough on the defensive side and kept us all the way to the fourth quarter.
Did you realize after the game that Omar had 18 tackles?
No, I did not. I do think he's continuing to progress. Coach Bray does a good job, and he had opportunities. They were trying to run the ball for sure.
Yeah. You guys got a new guy on the roster, Charles Moore. What led to that? What
Yeah,
did
you
see
know,
from him?
always trying to, add to the roster, find new talent. Felt like a defensive lineman was a guy that we could definitely use, and we're excited about him in regards to how much, he's a youngster, got multiple years to play. And so the, connection to Coach Bray, had done some stuff and knew him before and started building the relationship, and yeah, we're excited to have him.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about, and I missed your opening comments, but about the seniors who've been here since they were freshmen? They've been through a lot of changes and they've had 2 years of you. What about that group of seniors and how important have they been to your team?
Yeah, a bunch of respect for them. I think that they have been through a lot of transition and kept on working, kept on believing. Made mention earlier on the academic side, all of them are on task to graduate, which is not easy when you have different coaches coming through and different assistant coaches. And I think they've helped to have where we're at now, and this program's headed in the right direction, and they're a huge part of it.
The other question is, you look at the Pac-12 standings, so many teams are 4-4, 5-4, or 4-5. I mean, have you seen parity like this in recent years?
I can't remember it exactly this much parity. I did think it was a competitive league. Every year I've been in it, anybody can beat anybody type thing. But it is. That's why I'm back to each week is new. You never know how these things are going to go. You got to prepare well because there is a top to bottom, some parity. There's some really good teams, but every team's capable of winning.
Coach, your own secondary against Washington, just in terms of coverage, the 2 picks, a pick 6,
Yeah.
the progression of that group, was that their best game, just covering this season?
I did think they did play as good as they've played. I thought they tried to contest, put their hands on it, challenge those guys. The early pick from Nashawn was huge. Again, contested and turned into a 50-50 ball, which is up his alley, being with his length. And then Jade makes a nice break on the ball and finishes the play. I mean, we've been around some balls and had it batted down and whatnot. He finishes the play, takes it to the house. So those guys should gain some confidence from that. I thought actually even Dunn did some good things with pass breaks, some tackles, more than he'd showed in previous weeks.
Arizona State gave up 4 touchdowns in the first quarter to USC, 3 points the rest of the game. I mean, what did you see from just what they did? Did they adjust? I mean, is that how good they can be?
Yeah, no, they're good. I think they settled in early on in the game. There's just a couple of, and I think, are errors. I mean, they throw a 98-yard touchdown against cover 2, which shouldn't take place. It was just kind of a fluke thing. But you're right. They settled in against a really good offense SC's got. I mean, they got some real talent running routes, throwing the ball. And they stuffed them for 3 points for 3 quarters. That's impressive.
This late in the year, this seems like a group that doesn't, I mean, you can keep them engaged. There's still a lot to play for with 3 left. Is this a group that polices itself after tough losses?
Yes. Again, they bounced back. The next really was Sunday, so it was 2 days after with a Friday game. But we've got some leadership through these seniors. They understand that each week they got to go back and do their preparation, whatever the result was previously. And they've been that way the whole year, and we've been asking for them since we've got here. I think our effort is good. I think we're competitive. I think we got to play more detailed and execute better to win games that we want to win. And again, we got an opportunity this week to do it. Thank you.